20 chairs in the dining room. And they charged 65 cents for a complete chicken meal and the beverage. That was half the price of jelly jams and preserves. And since it was a big meal, it became quite popular. To the point where that little 20-chair dining room wasn't big enough. So Walter Knott kept expanding the wall to make the dining room bigger and bigger, where now we have 1,500 chairs in our dining room. We don't need to make it any bigger. We can control the crowd because we have other fooding establishments already here. But that's what got this place off the map, was the chicken dinner meal. And Walter Knott was offering free parking and just walk around and look at the berry vines and the vegetables, and then when your name is called, you go in and have your chicken dinner. Well, it got to be where the lines were getting kind of long, and the line for waiting your name to be called for the chicken dinner, and the family had a discussion. This was about 1937, and they said, we have to come up with some kind of distraction. There's got to be something for us to do so that people will walk around and have something to do to be distracted until they hear their names called. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, your table is ready. So somebody told Walter Knott, we'll go up to Prescott, Arizona. There's an old ghost town up there. Buy a couple of the old buildings, bring them down here. We'll paint them up, we'll clean them up, put it to dancing girls, some guys playing cards. It'll become a distraction. We'll have free parking, free admission, pay the cashier on the way out. And that's how the ghost town came together, because if you've ever known anybody that collects butterflies or stamps or buttons, people will find more and give them to you. So all of a sudden, the phone's ringing up to, hey Walter, you want this old building on my rent? Come and get it, it's yours for free. What's a sucker gonna do with these old things? He built Ghost Town with these old buildings to give people a distraction why they needed to wait until they heard their name called to eat the chicken at a restaurant. So what were the first rides? Well, there weren't any rides. These were dirt streets. We had cowboys, and we had stagecoaches, we had burro rides, we had a petting zoo, we had little stuff in a bunch of old dirty buildings. And that was it. Starting off in 1940. It wasn't until 1947 that Walter and Cordelia Knott changed the name from Knott's Berry Place to Knott's Berry Farm in Ghost Town. They waited a whole 7 years after 1940, even though it had already been built. Well, let's see, it may be a passing fad. I don't know if this is going to work or not. You know? So, that was 1947. 1949, Walter Knott gets a phone call from this old guy in Pasadena that makes these cartoons of rats, on my thing, called Walt Disney. And Walt Disney calls up and says, Walter Knott, I know you don't know me, but you might know my reputation about cartoons and movies I make at my studios in Burbank. And the reason I'm calling you is because we're going to be neighbors. I just bought a bunch of land out there in Anaheim, over here, and we're going to build an amusement park. It's going to be called Disneyland after me, and we're going to have a Tomorrowland, a Fantasyland, and a Frontierland. That's all he knew at the time. And he said, Walter Knott, the reason I'm calling you is I make good movies and cartoons, but I don't know squat about how to run a theme park. Would you teach me? And that's how Walt Disney learned about a theme park until he opened up Disneyland and knew how to run it. He learned it from here. This is where he went to school, right here. Walt Disney wanted to buy Knott's Berry Farm. Walter Knott wouldn't sell it to him because he envisioned this and that for Ghost Town. And Walter Knott said, what you build around me, I can